Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 153 on the Mana Leak. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves some packs of Battlebond here. The next 3 weeks, we're going to be opening Battlebond. Now, I actually haven't played Battlebond. We only had one event at my LGS. We haven't had that much interest in a second one, I guess. So I'm going to crack these open and see what I guess I would take, as well as my partner, because of course you pick 2 picks out of Battlebond packs. In this pack here, we'll start out with. Now, this is a sponsored Crack-A-Pack. If you go to patreon.com/themanaleak and you become a patron at the $5 level or above, you are entered to get all or some or whatever cards you want out of a pack each week if you are randomly chosen. This week, this pack is going out to David, so I'll contact David and find out if he wants the rare, the foil, all the cards, none of the cards, whatever he wants out of this. But let's crack it open and see what's in it. Also, you may have already seen or heard this, the packs are kind of weird. They're actually really big. So like there's all this extra foiling here. Apparently that's the way the packs work in Japan, and the card stock as well is the same as the Japanese card stock, which is apparently a little bit better. Wow, these are rough to open. They're also backwards. So we've got the token, behind that is the land, and then the rare, and then everything else. So we're actually going to reverse this pack so that we, you know, don't spoil things. So let's go like that. And then let's pop that down. So up first, we've got ourselves Hexplate Golem. Hexplate Golem is a 7 mana. Despite being a hex, it should be 6 mana. 5/7 artifact creature golem. That's it. That's not that exciting. There's no way me or my partner are first picking that card. Up next is Daggerdrome Imp from Return to Ravnica. 1 and a black for a creature imp flying with lifelink. This thing was actually surprisingly not unplayable in Ravnica, and that's about the best I can say. You're never first picking it. Up next is Negate. Unfortunately, not with the great art. I really wish it was with the Magali Villeneuve art. So much better than this. 1 and a blue for an instant counter target non-creature spell. Pure sideboard card, but of course in Two-Headed Giant there is no sideboard. You actually play best of 1 in Two-Headed Giant. So this is probably main deckable sort of in the way that it is in Sealed. You know, opponents are probably playing not 100% perfect decks. They're probably playing some non-creature spells that they may not be otherwise. So I think you can probably main deck one of these in one of your decks and not feel upset about it, but you're not first picking it. Up next is Giant Growth. Giant Growth is a single green mana for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Again, with the Ravnica art here. This is a combat trick, and it's a kind of the prototypical combat trick that you're fine playing, and you don't really get excited for it. You cut it if you can, and you certainly don't first pick it. Whoops. Up next is Saltwater Stalwart. Saltwater Stalwart is 3 and a blue for a creature merfolk warrior. Whenever Saltwater Stalwart deals damage to an opponent, target player draws a card. Now, I haven't played Battlebond. I actually haven't even read most of the cards. And this may be a reprint. I don't actually know. I've never seen it before. But 4 mana for a 2/4 that when it hits your opponent, draws a target player gets to draw a card. That's probably going to be you. But if your opponent, or if your teammate is lacking in cards, maybe you give it to them instead. This is fine. It's fine enough. You're never first picking it, but it'll probably make your deck if you've got a spot for it. Up next is Sky Shroud Claim. Sky Shroud Claim is 3 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 forest cards, put them onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. 4 mana ramp. It's not where you want to be. It doesn't even fix your mana, so Sky Shroud Claim is not something that I would ever look to play. Certainly never first pick it. Up next is Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike is 1 and a red for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. This is fine. I probably prefer Fervent Strike a little bit more just because it costs 1 mana as opposed to 2. The extra power, you know, maybe it lets you kill something a little bit bigger, but all in all, it's just a combat trick that you're not excited and you're not first picking. Sickle Dancer is up next. Sickle Dancer is 2 and a black for a creature human warrior. Whenever Sickle Dancer attacks, if your team controls another warrior, Sickle Dancer gets +1/+1 until end of turn. A 3/2 for 3 is kind of on rate-ish. It's slightly below the vanilla test. But if you have another warrior becoming a 4/3 when it attacks, perhaps on turn 4, that's okay. Sickle Dancer is not bad. I would probably main deck this if I had some sort of warrior theme, or if my opponent had a warrior deck going on as well. It's fine. It's totally fine, but hopefully we're not first picking it. Up next is Aurora Champion. Aurora Champion is 2 and a white for a creature elf warrior. It's a 3/2. Whenever Aurora Champion attacks, if your team controls another warrior, tap target creature. Well, we got a theme going. We could, unless this pack gets better, which hopefully it does when we get to the uncommon and rare, you know, we could pick a Sickle Dancer and an Aurora Champion, and then they help each other out. So Aurora Champion, probably not the best first pick in a vacuum, but maybe with Sickle Dancer, it could be our picks here. Up next, I believe this will be our final uncommon, if I'm counting correctly, is Bloodborne Scoundrels. Bloodborne Scoundrels are 5 and a black for a creature vampire rogue. It's a 4/4 with assist, meaning that another player, presumably your teammate, I don't see your opponents helping you out, can help you pay for the colorless portion. So you can pay some amount of it, they can pay some amount of it, you just have to pay the black. When Bloodborne Scoundrels enters the battlefield, each target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So it's a 4/4 for 6, but potentially you could get this out on turn 3 if you pay 3 and your teammate pays 3, in which case you get a 4/4 a little bit early, and you get to drain your opponents for 2. It seems fine. It doesn't seem insane, but it seems okay. I think I'd probably prefer the synergy at the moment of the 2 Warriors Matters cards over the Bloodborne Scoundrels, but I could see it being a pretty fine include in the black deck. Our first uncommon is Tavern Swindler. Tavern Swindler is 1 and a black for a creature human rogue. It's a 2/2. You can tap it and pay 3 life and flip a coin, and if you win the flip, you gain 6 life. That's horrible. This is a bear with technically an upside, but it's not really an upside. This card's garbage. Don't ever play this card. Ever. Up next is Plated Crusher 4 green for a 7/6 trample hexproof. Yeah, this thing's hard to deal with. The 6 toughness definitely allows your opponents to block it a little bit better, and I think a 2-headed giant where your opponents may very well have a 3/2 and a 3/2, and each of them blocks this at the same time and it dies, probably makes this a lot less good. I think it can still somewhat be a first pick, but I have a feeling that the likelihood of double blocking in this format probably makes this not quite as good. So I don't think I'm going to be on it, but it can hang out in frame for the time being. We got a partner, so we got a pair of partners here. So we only got 2 uncommons and we get 2 rares instead. So let's take a look at these guys. Right here, we got Oakhound, Eye of Chaos, 4 and a red for a legendary creature, Cyclops Berserker. It's a 3/3, and it partners with Zindelstrip, Zindersplut, Eye of Wisdom, which means, of course, that when one player plays Oakhound, they or another player can go and find this card in their library and put it into their hand. And, of course, Zindelsprit partners with Oakhound. So Oakhound is a 3/3. At the beginning of your combat, on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, double Oakhound's power and toughness until end of turn. So, you know, if you run on a lucky streak, this could become a 6/6 and then a 12/12 and then a 24/24. Could get out of control. No trample, though. Can be chump blocked. Zindersplit, Eye of Wisdom, is 4 and a blue for legendary creature Homunculus, partners with Oakhound. It's a 1/4. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, draw a card. So if you go on a luck streak, one player that controls Zindelsplit is going to draw a bunch of cards, and the other player, or if you are the player who's actually playing blue-red and you have them both, are going to get a gigantic Cyclops. Seems great, and I think this is just going to be our easy pick here, just because it's splashy, it's partners, it's fun, it's cool, and yeah, these guys seem really good. They're obviously a little bit slaves to luck, which of course isn't my favorite thing in Magic, but I mean, winning one coin flip is fine. Drawing a card and getting a 6/6, totally fine. Plus the fact that it draws the other one is also solid. You got to remember that partners with blah, blah, blah basically says draw a card, and that card happens to be this specific card. It's not, there's zero chance of it being a land when you don't need a land, or it being a Llanowar elf on turn 12 or something like that. So yeah, I think me and my imaginary partner would be on these 2 partner cards here because they're fun, they're splashy, they're cool. If you would pick something else, let me know for sure, especially if you have experience playing the format. As I said, I haven't gotten around, and I probably won't get around to playing Battlebond. I might buy a box at some point and just have a draft. sometime way off in the future when I figure out how I can actually stream a two-headed giant draft. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you would have taken. If you like the content, you can find me, if you have questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at the Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at facebook.com/Mana Leak, twitch.tv/Mana Leak, and patreon.com/Mana Leak, where you can become a backer at the $5 level and above and get your chance to get all the cards from the pack each week. As always, if you like the content, click that thumbs up button, click subscribe if you want to see more. And if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.